The Hanoverian dynasty was a prominent royal house that ruled Great Britain and later the United Kingdom from 1714 to 1901. Originating from the German electorate of Hanover, the dynasty played a major role in shaping modern British politics, constitutional monarchy, and the expansion of the British Empire. Their reign spanned nearly 2 centuries, marking a period of industrial progress, colonial expansion, and evolving democracy. Below is a detailed overview of the Hanoverian dynasty presented in key points and paragraphs. Origin and establishment of the dynasty. The Hanoverian dynasty originated from the House of Brunswick-Lüneburg, a noble German family. Its connection to the British throne was established through Sophia of Hanover, a granddaughter of James I of England. The Act of Settlement of 1701 declared that only Protestant heirs could inherit the English crown. As Sophia and her descendants were the closest Protestant relatives, this set the stage for the Hanoverian succession. When Queen Anne, the last Stuart monarch, died childless in 1714, Sophia's son George Louis, Elector of Hanover, became King George I of Great Britain. This marked the beginning of the Hanoverian era. George I, reign, 1714 to 1727. George I's accession brought about a new political structure in Britain. Born and raised in Hanover, he spoke little English and had minimal understanding of British politics. As a result, he relied heavily on ministers to manage state affairs. His reign saw the rise of the cabinet system, where ministers, led by figures such as Robert Walpole, gained increasing authority. Walpole eventually became recognized as Britain's first prime minister. Although George I faced opposition from Jacobites, who supported the return of the Stuart line, his reign stabilized the monarchy and strengthened the parliamentary system. George II, reign, 1727 to 1760. George II, the son of George I, was more familiar with British customs and language. He was the last British monarch to personally lead troops in battle, during the Battle of Dettingen, 1743. His reign witnessed significant military and colonial developments, including the War of Austrian Succession and the 7 Years' War, which expanded Britain's global influence. Domestically, George I's reign saw the growth of parliamentary democracy and the continued dominance of Robert Walpole's political leadership. George III, reign, 1760 to 1820. One of the most famous Hanoverian monarchs, George III was the first of the dynasty to be born in Britain and to speak English as his first language. He was deeply interested in science, agriculture, and education, earning him the nickname Farmer George. However, his reign was also marked by significant challenges, most notably the loss of the American colonies following the American War of Independence, 1775 to 1783. Despite this setback, Britain continued to expand its empire elsewhere, particularly in Asia and the Pacific. George I's later years were overshadowed by his mental illness, which led to his son ruling as Prince Regent from 1811 to 1820. Despite his personal struggles, his long reign helped strengthen British national identity and the monarchy's moral image. George IV, reign, 1820 to 1830. George IV, who had served as Prince Regent, became king upon his father's death. He was known for his luxurious lifestyle, love of the arts, and architectural patronage, including projects like Buckingham Palace and Royal Pavilion at Brighton. However, his reign was also marked by political tension and public criticism for his extravagance and personal scandals. Nevertheless, he supported cultural growth and presided over an era of elegance and artistic revival known as the Regency period. William IV, reign, 1830 to 1837. William IV, the brother of George IV, was a more modest and approachable monarch. His reign saw major political reforms, including the Reform Act of 1832, which expanded voting rights and addressed parliamentary corruption. He supported social progress, naval reforms, and better labor conditions. William IV was known as the Sailor King due to his long naval career before ascending the throne. His reign marked a transition toward a more constitutional and democratic Britain. Queen Victoria, reign, 1837 to 1901. The last monarch of the Hanoverian line, Queen Victoria, reigned for over 63 years, marking the Victorian era, one of the most remarkable periods in British history. Her reign was characterized by industrial expansion, scientific innovation, and imperial growth. Under her leadership, Britain became the world's leading power, known as the workshop of the world. Victoria's personal life, including her marriage to Prince Albert, greatly influenced British society, promoting values of morality, family, and duty. Following Albert's death, Victoria entered a long period of mourning but continued to serve as a symbol of stability and unity for the empire. End of the Hanoverian line. Upon Queen Victoria's death in 1901, the Hanoverian dynasty came to an end in Britain. Her son, Edward VII, belonged to the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, through his father Prince Albert, marking the beginning of a new royal house that later became known as the House of Windsor during World War I. Conclusion. The Hanoverian dynasty profoundly shaped modern Britain, guiding it through periods of political reform, industrial growth, and global dominance. From the early struggles of George I to the grandeur of Queen Victoria's empire, their rule transformed Britain into a constitutional monarchy and global superpower. Their legacy remains visible today in the institutions, traditions, and democratic values that continue to define the United Kingdom.